Hello, cinephiles! We're back. In today's episode, we're gonna go see one of the most popular shows on Netflix and coincidentally the most popular video on my channel. That's right, we're gonna go to Cobra Kai. So are you ready? Wax on, wax off. Let's go! Oh, hello, hi there. It's me, Todd. I'm in the studio, and today's sponsor is myself. The best way to support the channel is to subscribe to my Patreon, where not only do you become a member of the community, you get early access to the B-side videos as well as watch-throughs of movies or TV shows we are covering, and other movie reactions and commentaries from a filmmaker's perspective. And if that's out of your budget, no worries, just hit that like button. It really does help out the channel with the algorithm. And of course, subscribe to get the latest videos delivered directly to you. Hit that notification bell to be alerted of the newest uploads, and please share these videos with your friends and family. And now, back to our regularly scheduled program. Now, for those that are new here, I'm sure you're wondering what exactly is an FYC event. FYC stands for your consideration. And what they do is they invite all the Television Academy members that can vote for the Emmys, and they play an episode of the show that they're going to submit for the Emmys, and then they bring the cast out, and then the cast does like a Q&A, sometimes with the host, sometimes they let the audience ask questions. It just depends on how the night is set up. And then after, they have a little after party, and sometimes the stars come out and you can take pictures and talk with them more. So, and then we have a little food and drink and meet people and network and all the fun stuff that you do in Hollywood. This is really funny because I've passed by this Netflix building so many times on my way to work and always wondered what's going on in there. So we're gonna find out. And here we are, we made it inside the Netflix building for Cobra Kai. You get a popcorn and a water and watch the screening. We're laughing because they had a sign that said...
That's because you have to be water, my friend.
And you'll be popcorn and I'll be water?
Yeah, you have to be water, my friend.
There's a sign that says only popcorn and water beyond this point. I'll take a video of it later, but we're laughing because we're like, how do humans get into the theater? Wow, look at this Netflix building. It's got its own, ooh, look at the reception area out there. I guess, where do we go in?
Here.
We go in here?
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Got it? Uh-huh.
No, we can get the door. Thank you. Wow, look at this place. All right, we're gonna find a seat and get ready for the event.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Hey!
I'm going to assume you like those 2 episodes. That's what I like to hear. I'm Carrie Nemiroff, and I am just flat out obsessed with Cobra Kai, so it really is the greatest honor to be here tonight and get to moderate this FYC conversation for you. This show thus far has accumulated 8 Emmy nominations over the course of 4 seasons. Big round of applause for that. In season 5 is exceptional yet again. Please join me in welcoming the team behind Cobra Kai season 5. First up, we have our showrunners, Hayden Schlossberg, John Merwitz, and Josh Neal. And now we also have executive producer and star Ralph Macchio. Executive producer and star William Zabka. Patrick Hogan. And joining us virtually tonight, we have stunt coordinator Ken Bearfield. Hello, Ken. All right, I gotta go to my big trio first here. I wanted to start with a little bit of a broad question because over the years, you guys have managed to actually do it all. You make a show that appeals to longtime Karate Kid fans, brings in newcomers, you balance comedy and drama. You also make a major crowd pleaser that's an Emmy caliber show. How do you do it all, and has your approach to doing it all changed over the years?
I'll say, we had really great shoes to fill in terms of Robert Mark Kamen, John Avildsen, the filmmakers who owned the earliest days of what this franchise would look like when they made The Karate Kid. And having Ralph and Billy and, everybody who comes back from that original movie that meant so much to us as kids to populate this universe, it just made it a lot easier to just try to grasp onto what worked and not try to zig where it doesn't need to, and then occasionally zig where you have an opportunity to, add some surprises. But it's just been overwhelming and amazing and heartwarming for us to be able to live in this universe, add to this universe. And our earliest moments were, let's try not to break this beautiful thing that we love so much. And now it's, how can we, grow that tree even bigger and broader and wider.
It's a very special thing. You're continuing to grow here. Ralph and Billy, I'll come to you next. Playing these characters for a very long time now. Is there anything that you did particularly in Cobra Kai season 5 that made you stop and think, like, wow, I cannot believe these characters are still so creatively fulfilling for us to play?
It's a good question. Hey guys. All of it. I think every day that thanks for being here. I think every time that we read their lines and see what they're having us do, whether we're fighting, whether we're singing in a car, we're drinking, all of it is we're constantly pinching ourselves, saying, how are we still here? In many ways. But I think, last season we loved I think the climax of for us in season 5 was the scene in the limousine when we get out and all the bad guys come together. And Daniel, we're all in the tank. We all have our engines going in different directions, and I throw a beer bottle, a beer can at Ralph's head. That was kind of like, okay, well, this show's moving on, the story's moving well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the arc. You start these things off, and you're hoping you get picked up and make one season, let alone through 5. And so for me especially, the long game, because LaRusso had to sort of kind of be there to set up the concept. And so for season 5 was a real defining moment where he was the one person who knew who Terry Silver really was, but looked like the crazy person because he was acting crazy, because he's the only one who knows who Terry Silver is. And so that is everyone sort of coming to his aid, and him being sort of having everyone behind him moving forward felt, very Karate Kid to me, even after 45 episodes of the show. And so it's constantly teaching me what these guys are able to do, and sharing moments with Billy. We're kind of still peeling the onion layers off these characters, and there's a lot of meat on the bones, and it's really exciting to not know what's happening next.
Exciting and fulfilling for fans too. I also can't hear Terry Silver without just being absolutely floored by the fact that after the Karate Kid Part 3, we get a version of this character who just stepped in season 4 swinging and came in real hot. And my God, what he does in this season is something else.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, so many of the actors, and Yuji is chosen. Taguchi, he's one of my MVPs of season 5, really delivers, and then brings all that Miyagi-ism and that piece of, grounding it always from its source, but creating new, fresh ways of telling stories.
Well, we're going to get to more of this ensemble. We got to celebrate a lot of them.
I think the challenge was, opening up that world from karate and MMA. It's such a big deal nowadays, and there's so many good karate fighters that are in the MMA world. So me and Don were stoked to just kind of bring those two together. I mean, Don, you have something else to say on that for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it just kind of opened, the door for us to kind of introduce what that world is, because it is so predominant. Everyone knows what the UFC is. Everyone knows what the MMA is, but everyone also knows what Cobra Kai is. And it's kind of a cool thing we talk about is, hashtag make karate cool again. And Cobra Kai has done that, and you guys have done that really well. And, I'm really proud of you guys. I'm really proud to be a part of this. And so we just wanted to take the opportunity to kind of bridge the gap and show what would a karate fight look like versus a true MMA fighter. And we had a lot of fun doing that. And Billy kicks ass.
Yes, and that would have happened in real life as well.
White lightning.
The guy's legs were like tree trunks. When we were just rehearsing, he got me in some hold. I'm like, dude, you're gonna snap my neck. He was very gracious. I still could have taken him just a little cheap elbow.
I believe you could win that fight, and I believe you could beat Mike Barnes any day. I'll give you that. All right, Patrick, I want to come back your way to stick with the fight scenes a little bit. In all of season 5, is there any particular scene where you faced a unique challenge, even after having worked on 50 episodes of Cobra Kai, in terms of crafting the sound in a way that ups the tensions and the stakes in a fight scene?
Boy, by season 5, we really had it dialed in, so the challenges, actually, the fight scenes actually weren't the challenge for us, because he was supposed to be here tonight, and I was going to call him out, and our sound effects editor we've had for 3 seasons on the show, our dialogue editor for 4 seasons. So there's been a lot of continuity, which is great, and that really helps kind of the shorthand. Like, they know the show. I don't have to talk to them as much, because they already know when I literally sometimes in the notes I say, do the Cobra Kai sound design fight sound, and they're like, oh yeah, and they put that in, they know what it is. I think the challenge was just, we're always trying to find new ways to rebalance it. The effects mixer, Chris Carpenter, is amazing, and usually in any of those scenes that you see, like a fight scene, he's usually got about 50 different tracks of punches and punch sweeteners and the high-end crack and the low-end thud. And then whenever we go into slow motion, there's all these kind of really cool ramping up slow-mo sound design things, and he has to balance it all. And we do spend a lot of time on the stage trying to make sure that every punch and every kick in every fight scene sounds different. And that's why there's so many different elements to it. So I think the challenge is just constantly adjusting a little bit so they never get boring. Because the one thing is and that goes with what these guys do with the stunts. Like every fight scene, every season, there's new things. And so we're trying to constantly just kind of nudge them and adjust them slightly so that they're always new and exciting.
That gives me a good segue to go back to you, John, Josh, and Hayden, because I feel like you're able to up your game in terms of the fights, because you happen to have put together an ensemble of actors who are wildly talented in terms of learning karate and the stunt work that goes into doing this show. So can you maybe talk us through some scenes or things that you've written that you were only able to write because you had a group of actors who were able to take it to the next level with their own karate skills?
I mean, first of all, it's blown us away since day one, the way the kids have all just embraced the karate. They came in eager, ready to learn, and more often than not, what you're seeing on the screen is them and not their stunt doubles. I'd say in season 5, episode 10, we have the Terry Silver versus Chosen sword versus size fight. And that was something where the prior season, Thomas Ian Griffith, who plays Terry Silver, told us, he said, if there's an opportunity for something with a sword, I happen to be very good at that. So that was one of those things where we're like, haven't done that on the show yet. So why not plan that for the big fight, one of the big fights at the end there. And originally it was going to be sword versus sword, and then early in the season we were all talking, and I think Don, was it you who came over to us and was like, what if it was size versus sword? And we're like, that's even better. And and all season long, both those guys were preparing sort of in the background for that. And it's been really cool over the course of the years. Like even season 4, when we had the big tournament, and we knew that there was going to be a skills competition. Mary Mauser had the size, and from day one, she was just every day on set. She just had them with her, and she was practicing and practicing and practicing. And it was so rewarding to be there on the day when we're filming that skills competition, and it felt like the real deal. It was a real skills competition with all of our kids who've been working really hard for a while. And I just remember like them all cheering for each other, and like, the high that they had as if they were performing at an actual karate exhibition. It was wonderful.
I'll never forget my first conversation with Mary for season 1, when she didn't do any of the stunt work and also wasn't training at all. And now you look at what she does in season 5, and I think it's absolutely mind-blowing how the show inspired them to do all of that themselves. Hayden, do you have an example of a particular scene that you wrote only because someone in the ensemble was able to get to that level in terms of the fight work?
I mean, I would say the Robbie Hawk fight at the end of season 4, we knew, they had reached this level in practice that was really good, and we really wanted to showcase them. That wasn't the reason why we ended the season that way, but that was one of those situations where, okay, we know that they're both able to do a bunch of things, and so we can make this like the longest point ever. And that's what, that was, something where, thinking about their skill, like kind of seeped into the story.
It's the writing, it's the backstories, it's the characters, it's the performance, it's the physical aspect, and everyone has to be working in concert for all those, and they each heighten the other. So it's not so simple as, oh yeah, I like that show, it has great stunts. Oh, I like that show, the writing's really good. Oh, I like that show, the acting's really good. It all inspires the other. So it's really a, it's a piece of music. It's a symphony, if you will.
It's like an answer to my first question also. I feel like that's why this has such weight for so many different people, so many different ages and backgrounds out there. It's because you have the emotional weight behind the comedy, the fights, and all that kind of stuff. And it really makes the show like this make an impact. I love it.
I'll just say, we went into production on season 5 so fast. We had just wrapped season 4. We were in post-production on season 4. We were taking a breath saying, oh my God, we just filmed in All Valley that felt like we were there for months. And all of a sudden there was that, kind of, it's not post-COVID, but it's, hey, it's lesser COVID time of, we're back to work. Can you go make another season right away this year and wrap by the end of the year? This is 2021. So all of a sudden we asked a lot of each other, of the cast, of the stunt team, of the post team, everybody. The wheels would have come off that wagon if everybody didn't land every moment, make a decision, make it awesome. We brought our entire writing team to Atlanta during the entire production. And, literally we'd go upstairs to the writer's room and, okay, we're doing that. And we have to go downstairs and talk to Ken and say, okay, next week we're going to be doing this. And so when you say, like, was there an opportunity for something not to land? There wasn't. It was like literally a tightrope that we had to walk.
Yeah, I would say this was the season that, because of that, we were just running 24 hours a day in every way, from a writing standpoint, from a production standpoint. And when it was all said and done, we looked at each other, we're like, did we do it right? Like normally whenever we leave a production, we're like extremely confident and we're like, okay, we got that. And this was something where it was like we left it and we were dizzy, and we had shot 2 seasons in 1 year, and we were like, I hope we got it. And then we were watching each episode as they were coming, and we're like, okay, that one's good, and that one's good, and that one's good. And then it was like, by the time we got to the finale, and it was like, okay, we stuck the landing, it was such a relief. It was more of a relief than anything we've ever experienced in our whole careers.
The ultimate sigh of relief there. I want to go back to highlighting the ensemble here. I'll toss this to both of you, Ralph and Billy. So, of everybody you get to work with in this ensemble, can you each name a time when a scene partner was just the scene partner you needed in a tough moment, and they helped you access something in your own character that you might not have been able to reach without them?
That's a big question. I mean, that's what a scene partner is. So every actor we're working with, and everybody that's been on the show has just been top notch, from the people returning to our new cast. So there's something really exciting for us. We're working with the new young cast, especially. Like when I first met Sholo and was working with Ms. Miguel. And I remember in season 2, I think it was, there's some scene where we're talking about Robbie. I miss Robbie's birth, and just the purity in him drew out an emotion in me that only could have happened if it was him playing opposite of me. So that happens with all in act. That's what acting is to let go and to let your energy and your kind of spirits combine and battle. And so all of them are that way. Robbie, and the same with Tanner. And then with Ralph, I mean, it's been amazing to we used to stand 40 years ago now. Hello, he illegally kicked me in the face. I'm kidding. I'm sorry for bringing that up. No, it's an old joke. It's an old joke. No, but
What was that?
But I mean, here we are this many years later, and we have such a history together from that movie, and then our own lives living as parents and husbands, and all the life experience, and now here we are 40 years later, bringing all who we are. And now I'm looking at Ralph Macchio, who's playing Daniel LaRusso, but with so much more to him. And I think he could say the same for me, and that brings out a new, exciting thing. So it's a new thing. It's a new discovery. Thankfully, it's still fresh. Thankfully, when we did our first scene in the dojo, and he walked in the first season, and we stand across from each other. It was the first time Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso looked at each other on camera. And when they said cut, we were like, they're here, we're here, it's here. So it's exciting like that with all the OG cast and the new cast. And I'm constantly surprised. I'm constantly surprised by the young. I'm inspired and entertained by them. I love watching them on the show. When it gets to me, I'm like, no, get to them, get to the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. This the ensemble is so wonderful, and the kids, the young generation, they take such pride in being a part of it. There's none of any kind of entitlement from them. They really bring each day. I could sense from them that they feel like they've been gifted this opportunity, and that has been amazing. Whether I'm working with Mary Mauser or Jacob or Tanner, it's really a great give back. It's never, alluding to what Billy said, when we work together, there's just a heightened level of comfort. It's like, you're playing in the majors, but when we're doing it, we're like center stage Yankee Stadium, and it's the World Series. And it just feels that way to me, to have all that depth and all those layers of time as actors and as friends, and that comes that is bled into the piece. And then having characters like, say, Tamlin Tomita, season 3, comes back and reads letters that Miyagi left, and so I have her, this actress and friend, that just among all of them, everyone knocks it out of the park. But it's a way to tie in to the history of it all, to where it began as well. So it's constantly evolving, and due in no small part to the writing, but also to the connections with the human beings, because it's human emotions, and we care, and that's awesome.
Well, for us, we're like playing with our childhood heroes and villains. And
Literally,
each season we introduce new villains and heroes from our past. Terry Silver, and in season 5 we had Mike Barnes come back, and then Yuji who plays Chosen. So it's like all these action figures that we used to have as kids. We're so excited to write them as characters, and then when you talk about the kids, those are the new characters that we're creating. So we're obviously into them. So it's just like, there's not a scene that goes by that we're not, excited to write. And I think that, we want to give everyone their chance in the spotlight. But it's just anytime that the original Karate Kid members are together, it's an event for us, and we treat it like that.
I will say, when you bring back characters from the original films, like, big round of applause for making that feel like it's done with purpose and not just for fan service.
That's a huge thing for us in the writer's room. I mean, every time we're bringing back a legacy character, we're thinking, okay, what are people expecting? What do people want to see? What do we want to see? How can we do something surprising, but that also makes sense? And it's always really fun. You know, when Mike Barnes came back this year, it was, you know, a lot of people are predicting, okay, is he going to be working for Terry Silver? Is he going to be like evil in all these ways? And so we like leaned into that at first, and then surprised that he's the most evolved of everyone. Like, you know, no one would have expected the bad boy of karate to be that evolved, and to break him down again and bring back that bad boy by the end of the season was a fun roller coaster to bring that character on.
And Sean was amazing in that role.
I love
it. Just anytime there's somebody new that comes to set, like from the that we're bringing back, it's awesome.
In real life, he's really not a nice person, though. I have to tell you. In real life, he's the real Mike Barnes. But I love calling him the bad boy. And what's more is he shows up everywhere. In fact, Sean Kanan might be right here. And we love Sean. I heard your laugh, man.
When the big three first pitched that to you, what was your first impression of how that was written, and maybe what big burning questions did you have for them about playing it?
Well, I think because, I mean, as Josh mentioned earlier, we were thrown into season 5, you know, so quickly. And I knew I had the episode 5 face-off with Terry Silver. And I remember, I think it was John who said, how do you feel about this script? Because LaRusso gets just pummeled. He just gets beaten to a pulp and left, just in shambles. And I liked, you know, and I enjoyed him getting his hands dirty and not shaving for a while and having bourbon for breakfast because his life was falling apart. I was like, yes, I've been waiting for this. I couldn't wait to dive into that, and fighting a guy 6 foot, what is he, 6'6", it's insane. But we had the whole day to do that big scene, and so I knew that was coming, and worked really hard on it, and I think it's really a good fight, and it, you know, only gains more sympathy for what LaRusso's going through. I didn't know, I actually learned that the crane kick was going to be brought back from Ken, who said, okay, we're working on this fight right now, and it's going to use Silver and this, and then he goes this, he does that, and then crane kick, and you send him through the glass. I said, wait, what? I said, they probably didn't mention it on purpose. Meanwhile, this is the end of the season when we're all scrambling to just make our days on our budget, and with all these fight sequences, and it was late, and we were, you know, it was about, okay, so how to do this right. And that fight for me, that second fight and the victory with the famous iconic Karate Kid move, was more about Daniel LaRusso being balanced and centered, where the first fight he was fighting out of a place of desperation and anger. And so there's the lesson in the arc there. That's the stuff that's the richest for me. The fact that it was the crane kick is awesome. The fact that it came...
It was really awesome.
It being... They're writing the show for you guys, and they're the best at it, man. You know, so it was great to see. And when I first saw it, I was like, all right, it was easier 40 years ago, but it came out pretty good. But then when I did the first press for season 5, every reporter was just like, dude, you know, and I was like, okay, I guess it works. I guess it works.
It was surreal. You know, you watch this as a kid, and then you're here on set, you're doing this with these guys, and it's done so well. And, you know, it was an awesome job. And I think the cool part about that was being able to find the choreography with it, with the balance of where Silver just came from, having, you know, Daniel in this right headspace of finding that balance and showcasing that technique. And, you know, those guys executed it really well.
Patrick.
All Ralph. It was all Ralph.
Patrick, you can add our last layer to this particular scene that we're discussing here. How does it change your work when you're working with the footage from Karate Kid Part 3 and also the stunt footage that they shot on set, and everything has to land at the precise time or it just doesn't work?
Again, it's kind of easy for us because it's so well done. I mean, you take a great movie and then you shoot new footage with great stunt choreography, great actors who have trained, great creative team who make sure that the shots are in there that we need. And then, all we do is make it sound real. I just joke. Their goal is to not hurt the actors, and our goal is to make it sound like they did hurt the actors. So we basically we're the icing on the top of the cake, but we got a whole cake, which was why we love working on the show, because it's so much fun. It takes a village. It's a cliche, but it's so true. I mean, I'm here representing 25 people, right? And everybody here is representing 25 people. It was hundreds of people worked to make that scene kick ass. And we just got to be what's great is we get to be the last ones involved. So we get to see the final product. A lot of these people don't get to see it till it comes out, but we get to see it when it's finally put all together, which is one of the fun things about sound. But they're great to work with. And I mean, everything from, even when we do these fight scenes, when they come in to do the ADR, I mean, they're in there. I mean, he's like taking his jacket off and stuff, and because he's like moving and stuff when he's doing these efforts. And a lot of actors wouldn't want to do that, and spend that time, even in those tiny little details, and they do. And all those little things make the sound so much better, which then I think hopefully elevates the show.
You kind of teed up my last question there, and it feels like a really unfair question to ask, so I will preface this by saying literally every single person who worked on this show deserves to be celebrated, but we get to talk to you guys right now, but there's so many other people who we should be celebrating as well. So can you each name someone, whether it's someone in the cast or crew, who just one day wowed you with their work and made you think like, damn, I can't believe you're capable of doing that, and I'm so grateful you're here.
I'm going to give a shout out to Joel Novoa, who directed the finale of season 5. He's directed a lot for us the last couple seasons, and he is a positive energy. He's excited at all times. He's insanely prepared. He's very efficient. He makes sure we get everything covered. He's great, whether it's the drama of the scenes, the comedy of the scenes, and the fights. And does it with a major flair. If you're voting this year for Best Director, Joel deserves everyone's vote.
I gotta say, Zach Robinson and Leo Berenberg are composers who've been nominated in the past, and I can't believe that they haven't won, because they are the tone of the show. It's such a weird, bizarre tone that we've created, that they are the ones that make it like feel, when you say like it's working for all audiences, it's because it has to work for people our age, which expect a certain type of realism, but it has to also work for like that 8-year-old kid who saw Karate Kid for the first time. It has to have the feels, it has to have all that, and they've captured like this earnestness while also having like the amazing like blockbuster kind of fight sounds and music, and I just cannot say enough. Like, there are John Williams, and it's been an amazing ride with them. So, it's we're so excited, working with them, and they deserve all the accolades.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say the top down guys are Bob Wilson, and our producer, our line producer, and Dieter, our UPM, and then our first AD Kevin. The rock stars that you just feel like you're going out. I mean, every time we go, I say, all right, Captain, get us there safely, and they do. And you just know, no matter what we're up against, what stress we're up against, they're going to get their day. They make it cool. And as the odds are stacked against us, they somehow get us through. It's just like, that we're going to be okay. Somehow we're going to be okay. They never shake. They come on the set. They're always in good spirits. And without them, I think they're just like the shoulder to lean on and just know it's going to go through. And then the stunt guys, I just got to throw a shout out to my guy Jesse. I mean, the stunt guys are just awesome, because and my guy Jesse, who takes all the hard falls and goes into glass and tables and everything. These guys, they put the fights together in another room and they show us on a video, and all their guys can do everything. So if we can't do them, and they do a pass with all the stunt guys anyway, but just the preparation that they do for us, where they come in and they show us you know, here are the guys, here are the moves, here are the thoughts behind it. Then you bring us in to collaborate with you, maybe make a tweak. What's easier for my left leg than my right leg,
Yep.
or whatever. But the team effort. But the stunt guys on this show, it's insane. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, because we're also they take such care with us and working on the sequences. And when we're the budget for this show is not as high as a lot of big shows that do as well. So we're always up against that. And so mentioning Bob Wilson, the line producer, the ADs, Kevin. Everybody is positive going in. I'm often saying, oh God, help us. How the hell are we ever going to get this done? And I've been enlightened by their positivity. And from acting scenes, stunt scenes, everything, just making our days really, there's so much care that goes into it because it is a kind of precious piece because it comes from something that meant a lot to a lot of people. And has become a piece of pop culture for all of us. So we just keep getting to tell those stories. It's awesome.
I'll throw another Zach out there, Zach Arnold. If you see
Yes,
Zach,
the editor.
If you see Cobra Kai and Zach, just vote for it. Zach found us in season 2. He became a huge fan of the show in season 1. He grew up with the Karate Kid. It spoke to him in a way. We heard a podcast that he was doing where he was taking lessons from the show to apply it to real life. He found us, we found him, and since season 2 he's edited all of our finales and other episodes as well, but the finales in particular we shoot so much footage for. It's kind of like we do 9 episodes of television and then we shoot a movie, and a lot of it's in slow motion, a lot of it has so many different angles, and every year he brings something to us with a big idea and a pivotal moment that was not in the script, that was not shot on the day, that was not planned for. I can think of specifically Tori versus Sam at the All Valley, calling back into their entire rivalry in the moment that they're kind of entering the last point. And we played with it again in Daniel's fight with Terry Silver. And that became something in the editing room that, he elevated something that was already there with emotion and, added to it in a way that you want somebody who cares about it. And there are literally, there's 7 of us up here. There are 250 more people who love this show and show up wearing, gang colors of Cobra Kai.
Well, that's the secret. Like everyone loves the Karate Kid. I mean, if you want to be on our writing staff, when we interview, I mean, it's you got to know.
Yeah, are you wearing the hoodie or not?
Do you know Dutch? Do you know these things? So it's like everyone involved has that extra bit of they're excited to work on it. You hear Ken talking about being able to work on the crane kick. Zach and Leo, when they do the score, it's like they get to, Bill Conti, who did Rocky and Karate Kid, is an icon of a composer, and they get to kind of do their version of those feels. And so all of us get to kind of play in that.
Our camera department goes and gets, legacy vintage lenses that were used around the time of the Karate Kid to, put in front of the camera at times. And it's so subtle that you might never catch it, but it means something on the day. And just looking at a piece of glass, you might say with your naked eye, I don't know, but somebody who knows goes, no, that's 1984 right there. And it's just so special that they make that effort, that they want to bring that to the table, that it's not just punching the time card and, when can we go home?
Since I'm representing Post, I'll put a call out to our post producer, Mallory Yund, also known as the Big 3 Wrangler. She's actually the person I work with the most often on the show, and she's the one who actually gets the show across the finish line and delivers it to Netflix. And post producers get almost no credit for what they do, and most people don't even know what they do, and it's a huge job.
You have to be Cobra Kai to do what she does.
Yeah, it's probably the hardest job on the planet.
Yeah, Mallory is phenomenal. And there's a lot that goes into the show, and we have very high standards. And we keep wanting to make the show better at all times, which makes us, maybe miss a deadline here or there, or we've made a deadline, but we're like, let's open this back up and do that. And she's the one who's juggling everybody in post, and she does an amazing job.
Yeah, by the time we're done with production, we basically deliver, an unput together IKEA piece of furniture to her. And we're like, we need this to be a living room in a couple weeks, and show it to us when it's a couch. And it's like, these are splinters. But they're all there, and she helps us, get to that place where you're actually sitting on it and going, it's a couch.
You
I
guys
gotta add to Mallory, Ken as well, because the big three and everyone else, we get an opportunity to kind of get a chance to watch the fights and kind of get input to say what we think of it and so forth. I don't know if you want to touch on that, Ken, but yeah, Mallory's awesome. Yeah.
Mallory's great. Mallory's rad.
She is? That felt like a hostage video, Ken. Is Mallory there?
You can release it now.
We have to wind this down and go celebrate a little. I will just say, you guys kept emphasizing how much everybody who works on this show cares about what they're making, and you could feel that passion radiating off the screen. And as a longtime fan, I am very grateful for every ounce of passion you all put into this show. So thank you for all your hard work, and big thanks to everybody out there for being here tonight celebrating Cobra Kai.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Oh my God, guys, what did everyone think? What a panel. So much Karate Kid history. So good. All right, we are headed over to the reception now. We're gonna party it up. See what goes on. Hopefully we'll see some of the stars over at the reception. That's a wrap on Cobra Kai 5, Season 5. What'd everyone think? Did you like the panel? Did you like seeing Daniel and Johnny? Of course, don't forget to like and share and subscribe and follow me on the social medias. Thanks for watching, everyone. I am out of here.